So I did it. I watched Hunter x Hunter, or should we just say Hunter x Hunter? I don't know what to call it. People seem to say one thing or the other without a definitive answer. One of the intro title sequences actually shows both, so maybe they're just fucking with us. I'm just gonna say Hunter x Hunter because it's easier to say. Okay? Okay. I watched the entire 148 episodes from 2011, and I just want to get this out of the way and say that yes, this show is fucking amazing. The hype is real. Every person that told me to watch it because it's fucking fantastic was right. It is a fantastic show, but it takes its fucking time to get there, and that would have been nice to know beforehand. This show is not great right away, and we're going to discuss that. But first, I want to talk to you about what the show is actually about in a non-spoilery fashion. What is Hunter x Hunter about? This show primarily focuses on our lead protagonist, Gon Freaks. Gon wants to be a hunter. What is a hunter? A hunter is a person that goes through a nearly impossible exam, and if they pass the exam, they are granted a hunter's license. If you pass the hunter's exam and are granted a hunter's license, then you basically can go wherever the fuck you want and do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can go be rich, you can go kill people, do whatever the fuck you want. Gon wants to be a hunter because his father abandoned him as a child so he could go be a hunter. And if being a hunter makes it okay to abandon your child, then being a hunter must be pretty fucking cool, right? So the basic premise of this show is Gon wants to become a hunter so he can finally find and meet his father. Who is Gon as a protagonist? Gon is this happy 12-year-old kid that is disgustingly optimistic, and he has an unstoppable determination to succeed at whatever obstacle is placed before him. He's also one of the most likable characters I've ever seen. I love Gon. But Gon isn't the only protagonist here. Gon has a best friend named Killua. Killua is almost the exact opposite of Gon. He's pessimistic and cautious and very careful, and he doesn't have a problem with murdering people. Killua was raised by a badass family of assassins, and he is a lethal character that's also cool as hell. He is so cool that he kills people with his hands in his pockets. Killua was the same age as Gon, and he's only made one friend in his entire life, and that's Gon. His only motivation in the show is to help his friend find his dad, and it's as simple as that. The entire foundation of Hunter x Hunter is based off of the friendship between Gon and Killua. They carry this story 90% of the time. Rolling back to being a hunter, another perk to becoming a hunter is that you gain access to the use and knowledge of Nen. What's that? To put it simply, Nen is this story's version of dope-ass superpowers. You know, in like DBZ and most shonen anime where these characters just have power and they keep leveling up season after season, and they just gain so much power and they've got their power levels and they're just powering up. Well, Hunter x Hunter decided to make rules about Nen and vividly explain how it works. It's called the Nen system, but I'm not going to explain the Nen system because mostly I'm stupid, but also it just takes too fucking long. They actually took an entire story arc just to explain how Nen works, and even after that, they just take all the opportunity they can to just cram the knowledge in your brain. Here's the basics. Once you can control your Nen, then you can manipulate it in a way to fit your personality. And from that, you develop super awesome abilities and powers that no one else has. So all these different people that know how to use Nen have all these different powers. It's very cool shit. Okay, so that's the base level of what this show's about. And they take a long ass time to break all that down for you. And while they're doing all this, they have tons of characters come and go, and they go on adventures, and it's okay. Something that took me a minute to figure out about this show is that you can't really break it down into seasons. It's too complicated for that. Like Hulu and Netflix have different season breakdowns, and sometimes there's 3 seasons, sometimes there's 5 seasons. It doesn't make any sense. The story has to be broken down by story arcs, and there are 7 story arcs total. Some story arcs are only 5 to 10 episodes. Some story arcs are 60 episodes. This show didn't really grab me and make me love it until the Chimera Ant arc, and that arc is the 6th story arc. The Chimera Ant arc starts at episode 76. There are 75 episodes before that, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't have the best time watching those 75 episodes. They just really took their time. I'd say you'd get one great episode out of every 4 or 5. Early in the series, they would also do that fucking thing where they do a recap episode. I hate recap episodes. Recap episodes typically are one character telling another character somehow what's already happened in the show, so the audience is being relayed information that they already know. But in these episodes, they give you a sliver of new information, so you have to watch it. So what my ignorant, impatient ass didn't realize was that while these characters are learning Nen and going on adventures to level up, the show itself was training me on how to watch the show and the world that it takes place in and how everything works, so that when the show does speed up, I'm not left behind and I'm not confused. I just get everything right away. By the time the Chimera Ant arc hits and just takes off, I'm already a fucking expert on every character and how Nen works and how to accept new characters into the story right away. And what makes this show so great isn't really the story itself, it's the characters. These are some of the most well fleshed out characters I've ever seen. And once you realize that this show is just about enjoying the characters, you can sit back and enjoy the slow burn. And when shit gets good, it gets really good. They get you so emotionally invested in these characters that when shit goes down, you're worried for them. You're worried about what the fuck's gonna happen. And this show's got you. They reeled you in. They flipped that switch and now you're this show's bitch. This is a show where the characters really drive the story, and I didn't realize that at the time, and it's fucking brilliant. If you just know to enjoy the characters, those first 75 episodes are a lot easier to get through. One of the great accomplishments of those first 75 episodes is that they really know how to establish villains. Some of the best villains with great motivations. And the way that these villains use Nen is so cool. Of those first 75 episodes, my favorite arc is the York New City arc. In this arc, they take Gon and Killua and they just kind of put them on the back burner. And they introduce an entire gang of villains to you, and this gang is called the Phantom Troop. And holy shit, they're awesome. The Phantom Troop is awesome as shit. They take the Phantom Troop and they put them up against this world's version of the Mob, and lots of people die in glorious fashion. This was the arc where I sat there, I'm like, oh, okay, that's different. This is cool. They succeeded at making me root for a whole group of villains that I just met versus the fucking Mafia. Fuck yeah. I feel like I'd be an asshole if I didn't acknowledge the character Hisoka. Hisoka is a villain that could be defined as a mixture of the Joker and Sabretooth. He's a sadistic genius murder clown that always acts out of self-interest, even if that means helping out the good guys. I don't absolutely love his character. He's a little bit weird and creepy. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. But every single time Hisoka showed up, my reaction was always the same. Oh shit, you are fucked, dude! So here you are watching Hunter x Hunter. It's fine, it's a pretty decent show. You're wondering why the show is so hyped up, and you're also confused about how you know so much about everything in the show. And then you reach the Chimera Ant arc. This arc introduces a very real villain and a very real threat to the world that you've gotten to know so well. They just hit the ground running, and as this villain evolves and grows an army, you're introduced to a ton of new characters. But since the show has made us experts at Hunter x Hunter, we immediately understand who these characters are, and we get their abilities and how they work, and we're easily able to get on board with what they need to do. This arc has a ton of action, and it's really fast-paced, but also a lot of narration and inner dialogue from characters. And since you're already sitting back and just enjoying characters, this makes the show so enjoyable. My favorite character of the whole show is introduced like 80 episodes in. It's this guy. He's the fucking man. While we're witnessing the chaos of this arc, Gon and Killua are still just a couple of kids that are in over their heads. And seeing the emotional toll that this arc takes on them is very rewarding in kind of a fucked up way. You're seeing these dudes that you've been with for so long face situations where their physical strength can't help them. They have to use their heads and grow emotionally, and they have to do things that might fuck them up forever. The stakes are high, and the story is completely unpredictable. All you can do is watch and react and just enjoy the fucking roller coaster ride. And I enjoyed the shit out of it. The Chimera Ant arc is like 61 episodes, and it is honestly some of the best anime shit I've seen so far. That's the second to last arc of the series. And after that arc, they wrap it up and finish the series with another 12 episodes. And this 12 episode arc really kind of reflects how the first 75 episodes were. I thought it was a really good way to wrap up the show, even though they introduced a character that terrifies me and will haunt my dreams forever. By the time the show came to an end, I had a very somber feeling and I didn't want it to end. But I did get this closure that was very satisfying. This is a fantastic show, but you can't expect that story to pick up the pace for a long time. So you just gotta chill and enjoy the characters while you subliminally learn everything there is to know about the show before you get taken on this wild ride of unforgiving greatness. Absolutely check it out, but be patient. It pays off and it's worth the wait. All right, see ya. Subscribe!